দর্শক যুক্তরাজ্যে একটি অনুষ্ঠানে কথা বলছেন প্রধান উপদেষ্টা, আমরা সরাসরি যুক্ত হব সেখানে।
The themes and questions, but let me start with this question of the elections, which is controversial. You've said now a few days ago, okay, the next democratic elections are going to be in early April, but there's still a lot of controversy. The army and some politicians would like them by the end of this year. I believe you've banned the Awami League, the party of Sheikh Hasina, from contesting those elections, but it's one of the big parties. So already a big chorus of people saying these elections are not going to be free and fair. What do you say to that?
Well, I keep saying that we will have the most beautiful election we ever had in our history. And the time is right. People are ready. When you have an election after many, many years, after 17 years, you are having first time a real election. Excitement in the country that we will really go and cast our vote. In this meantime, it is 17 years. Imagine all the young people who are coming to that. They are piling up. They never had the opportunity to cast their first vote yet. So excitement of these young people that I will decide who do I vote for. These boys, girls who waited and waited and waited. Their voice never counted like many other, the rest of the nation. So that excitement we want to use and create what we call a new Bangladesh. It's not just voting for routine, voting for electing a new government. It's voting to create a new Bangladesh. What is this all about? That's the promise we made as we were given the responsibility to make sure that the ideals, of the dreams of all the young people who gave their blood just the other day before we took the responsibility. We honored their wishes, we honored their dream. We want to say goodbye to the old Bangladesh and create a new Bangladesh. So we defined that new Bangladesh by three things. One is reform. We don't want to go back to the institutions who created this. So we want to reform all the institutions we have in the country. So we created commissions for each institutions to study and give us recommendations, what the fundamental changes in all those things. So we had a series of those commissions. They have submitted their reports, lots of recommendations, very, very drastic changes in the institutions that we have, elections, parliaments, constitutions, civil service, everything. So those recommendations. So we are looking at those recommendations, but our job is to build the consensus with all the parties. So we created a last commission, Consensus Building Commission. Have you heard about something like that? Consensus Building Commission? We have them. So their responsibility is to go through all the political parties, sit together, find out which are the recommendations they will accept, and see in which recommendation all parties accept. That's a tough job for Bangladeshi politicians to agree on something all parties agree.
You know, I must say it would be tough for many politicians to agree on that because, and that's not a joke about politicians, because they might say, look, that's taking away the democratic element. Why don't you trust the voters? Trust the voters to vote for any of these parties and rely on them to use their judgment to pick the best ideas, rather than a commission appointed by you and your colleagues picking which ideas you like.
I wish we could do that if everybody understood what is a bilateral, bicameral legislations, what the proportional voting is all about, all the complicated things you tell them, oh, forget it, how much money you give me, I vote for you. To make it very simple. So you pay me some money, I vote for you. That's all voting may translate into that. So we said we don't want to go to that part. Public, all the voters can watch this debate. This is all debate. It's on the newspaper every day happen. So ultimate aim, to make it short, ultimate aim is to get all those recommendations where all the parties agree, put it in a separate piece of paper. This is where all the parties agree. And then we celebrate all the parties signed that agreement. We call it July Charter, and we are waiting for July to come next month. This charter will be presented to the nation, July Charter, and we celebrate. On this basis, now we'll have the election. That's how the election procedure was done. So one is the reform agenda. Next is the trial of the people who were perpetrators of all the things that happened in Bangladesh. I don't have to elaborate. It's a huge thing. It's a terrible thing that happened to Bangladesh. People were killed point blank on the street every day. Your son, your daughter went out, never came back, just shot. 2 friends went out in the street saying goodbye to each other. We may not come back. Maybe one of us will come back, another will not come back. We say goodbye to each other. Went out of the street. Either none of them came back or one of them came back. And that's the period we passed through. This is coming as almost a year now. So we'll be celebrating those days of July and August and have this charter. And one is reform, another is the trial of all the perpetrators of this. People disappeared every day, and nobody knew where they disappeared. Where did they end up their life? And horrible stories after stories. These are all documented now. So we have to find out why it happened, who did it, under whose orders. So we have to try them. So this is another agenda for us. Number 3 is the election. So we are talking about the election. So these 3 are responsibility.
So I'll come on to the trials of people involved in a moment, but I just want to stay for just one moment on this question of the Charter, because critics of what you're doing would say, look, you're ruling out lots of political parties, anyone who doesn't agree with this Charter, for example, the Awami League. So you're not really giving people a choice, that this is not a democratic process. This is a very nice, wrapped up in lots of words about consensus. This is an authoritarian step for Bangladesh to take.
Yeah. Well, there's a debate about that too. I mean, the debate is Awami League a political party? If they can kill young people on the street just like that, make people disappear just like that, steal money just like that, would you still call it a political party? So that's a debate. This is not a judgment. The issue came on the 5th of August. The former Prime Minister fled the country. So people were celebrating in the whole country. Finally, we are free. So we thought this ends on the 5th of August after departure of former Prime Minister. For us, chapter is closed. This part is over. Now it's a country without them. But those who fled, for them it didn't end. They continued the same thing, in absentia, doing it from another country, exciting people. They are fighting on the street. This is the 10th month now. None of that party has ever expressed this remorse. Sorry, our fault, somebody's ordered, somebody got killed. I'm not responsible for it. I feel terrible that I have to be part of that. None of them. So we are for them it continues. So for us it is ended. So we don't feel safe there on the street demonstrating. They're threatening the people who are already the leaders of this uprising. So safety of the country, safety of the politics of the country, the nation has decided that for the time being, the activities of Awami League will be suspended for the time being. That's all we have done. We have not banned Awami League, we have not done anything until the trial is over. That's all.
The trial of those people?
All the people who will found guilty.
So let me ask you then about that. Sheikh Hasina is obviously under the care of India, now in a secure house there, which she fled to. We'll come on to relations with India as a result. But if I said to you, why not leave the question of the trial to the next elected government? What would you say? Why is this interim government going to deal with it?
I didn't decide it. We are given this task by the people who invited us to take the responsibility, 3 tasks. And we accepted those 3 tasks. We are just going through that.
Let me just ask you one other thing on this particular period. I'm looking over at some of the media, but there have been a lot of reports of a clampdown on media in Bangladesh over this period. What is your response to?
It's false. It's not true.
Not true.
They never had so much freedom in their life. They can say anything they want.
Yeah, we may hear some of that later.
I know.
Let me come on to other questions about the economy, which is the role of anyone who takes on a job, as you have done, and suddenly dealing with the economy of your country at a particularly difficult time. What has been the impact of the upheaval in tariffs that the world is going through?
Well, this is a very tough job for us. While the world is going through all these problems, we are going through another set of problems. We are at the zero level of our economy, or a negative level of our economy. Not only zero. Zero is still, you have a positive thing that you can move. We have huge bills to pay because all the mega projects previous government took, so that they can make lots of money out of that, cut from those things. Now they are maturing to be paid. We don't have any money. All the resources from the banks, from the other sources, non-banking sources. In total, we estimate, given to our white paper, $234 billion taken away from the country, and documented in which way, and so on and so forth. So that's where we are. Resources gone. We start from obligations to payment. It's a negative. Our foreign exchange reserve at the bottom because it's empty. Banking system collapsed completely because the banking system is very easy to transfer the money, very simple procedure. Under threat, the whole board resigns. You put a new board of your choice and start issuing loans to your friends with the understanding this is a gift you get. You never have to pay back. There's no collateral, nothing. So this is the banking system we inherited. So we have to restore the banking system in some way. We have to make payments for all those people who are knocking at the door with the big checks, big bills that we have to pay. Otherwise, we're going to the court, which is not good for us. So we have to, and in that crisis moment, the best thing that happened to us, the overseas Bangladeshis, many of them are here, in London, in England, and so on, and Middle East. They kept sending remittances, huge amount of remittances, and that saved us. The economy was saved with them. And that remittances keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. Today, our balance of payment situation is completely changed.
As you said, and that has been a real transformation. The IMF, though, is having a lot of meetings with Bangladesh, and it is quite clear on this, it doesn't want Bangladesh to wait for the next government, it wants the interim government to deal with these some of the things right now. One of the things it wants is that you find a way to increase the rate at which people pay tax, that more people pay tax, that you can collect it better. Is that something you think is within the powers of an interim government?
The first thing I must mention in this, amazing response we get from all the governments of the world. Enormous support. They feel so relieved that finally this thing happened. Now we can have a government we can talk to and we can work with. And they said, any support you need, please tell us. We'll be very eager to do that. So that gave us a moral boost, that we are not abandoned. Government of United Kingdom, Great Britain is one of those countries. We are very grateful to them. Like European Union, United States, Japan, China, you name it. Every single government came with the enormous amount of support. And that gave us a moral boost that yes, we are not abandoned, we are not alone, they'll be helpful. And they were really helpful. You mentioned IMF. Yes, IMF also helpful, World Bank is helpful, all the international agencies.
Not everyone uses those adjectives, so
I'm telling you, it's a very concrete thing.
Yes.
The one that IMF came into the picture because the last debate that we had for the final release of the fund, the IMF was controlling and they agreed to give us, that you have to open your foreign exchange rate. It should be left to the market. We are worried about it because so far we are controlling it so that we don't kind of expose ourselves in the drain of all the foreign exchange gone because of the system. So opening this to the market is a real issue, something, a big decision for us, which we debated, and but the IMF said, no, nothing doing. Unless you do that, we are not releasing our funds. We tried to convince them and explain the danger of it and so on. They said, no, we understand. But we studied, I think you can handle it. So we started saying, are we able to handle this? Let's open it up. Finally say, if they see some positive thing, why aren't we seeing it? So I challenged them. They finally agreed that let's do that. And tell them again, kind of note, in case we get into difficulty, we'll revert. This is just to protect ourselves. IMF says, okay, go ahead.
বান্ডেল থাকলে প্রতি সেনমানিতে টাকা বাঁচবে।
বিকাশ সেনমানি বান্ডেল কিনে জিতুন প্রতি লেনদেনে।